Hi everyone! For today's Titanic themed book review, we're going to be revisiting a special moment in time, and that moment is 1140. An analysis of evasive maneuvers and damage assessment on RMS Titanic, written by Brad Payne. This book is a masterclass in historical analysis. Brad Payne has gone through every known source at his disposal and put together, as detailed as possible, an account of what happened from the moment the iceberg was spotted through to when the order was given to abandon the Titanic. This is quite the accomplishment. He has pored over numerous primary resources, looked over different accounts, tried to make sense of differing accounts and accounts from the same person that changed over time, because that is human nature, and done what he could to provide as accurate as possible, for now, what occurred during those fateful minutes. The book is occasionally illustrated with photos of public places, individuals, and what I found most informative are usages of cutaways and floor plans indicating the movements of certain people, particularly when they're being discussed, and estimates of how long it would have taken them to reach a certain point, and any features such as watertight doors that they may have passed in their trips up and down the decks. It's mentioned in the foreword that this is not the type of book that you sit down and breeze through on the beach or with a strong drink in your hand. No, this is a book that can best be thought of as a historical thesis. This is a debate of what does the historical sources tell us, and of those sources, what can we infer happened on that night? And as you go through the text, you read the accounts, you read the conflicting accounts, and then you read the author's attempts to try to make sense of all this. And then at the end, we get his deductions. And as the author himself claims, while this book has been based on 2 decades of research, and it shows, by the way, it is quite impressive the amount of sources he's been able to pull together. But as he also says, everything that is based on what we know thus far. Chances are, in the next decade or more sources might be unearthed, or we might discover something else that can lead us to refine what we know about those fateful minutes. If you are a serious researcher, do check this book out. Beyond the fact that it is about the Titanic, it is a fantastic example of how a historian takes the evidence and allows the evidence to dictate what they know and how to pursue their argument. And as well, it also shows you how the historian has debates with the evidence and sees what the evidence can tell them. If you are passionate about the Titanic and want to understand minute by minute, step by step of what happened on that night from the moment the iceberg was spotted, then you will find that there is plenty of information here from a variety of sources to keep you hooked. And while there's a lot going on in those pages, it never feels dry. It never feels that it's an odyssey to get through. It reads well, and especially, as I mentioned, those diagrams showing the routes of various individuals as they were traversing up and down the decks is actually quite an inspired decision, which helps us visualize what was going on as well. For the sheer amount of research and presentation and the deductions that have been presented in this book, this is a 5 captain's hats. if you love history, if you love analysis, if you love seeing what evidence can tell a historian, then check out this book. It is a formidable example of fantastic primary research and what that research can tell us after over a century after the actual event. So there you have it, 1140 by Brad Payne. Do check it out.